Well, here we go again. We're back here again. Reminder again. Evolution waits for no one, and no one's belief systems. Think about it. Oof, I love that saying. Okay, this is another request video here. Someone asked me to do manifesting through heart space tips and techniques. Okay. I think I've done something similar not too long ago in regards to developing um, creative abilities through the heart center chakra. I'm not sure, but I think I did. But anyways, we'll give this another one a go. If I repeat a little bit, hey, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. The very first thing that I would say in regards to this particular topic is it depends on what you want to manifest. I actually have found out that this is just my experience, not necessarily everybody else's, that recently the Source Creative Center, Heart Center, has been giving us the ability to be able to participate in our own evolutionary process. And what I mean by that is what I said in a previous video, that we're allowed to become the co-pilot and actually participate in some stuff. So that means we're manifesting. However, I think when most people are talking about manifesting through the heart center, I think they're actually talking, pertaining more about their own personal needs and wants and desires. I'm talking about material things, money, that kind of stuff. I'm of the belief system, if you will, and one that's come to me the hard way, is that because I have an active, very active heart center on a continual basis, there's fairly never a day that I can actually recall when I don't feel activity in the heart center at any given point in time. And like I said, it goes through variations. I don't set material goals per se as a rule. I will kind of put out some guidelines, as it were. Heart Center at this particular point supplies all of our needs that we require. We're not millionaires and don't really care about wealth as many people see it as a means of acquiring stuff. Our needs are usually met and supplied at a physical level with reliability, if I can put it that way. The environment that we have created has been supplied to us exactly in the way that is suited to us. So I think for myself, and I'm only speaking for myself here, is when it comes to the material stuff, I think I can safely say that having evolved to a certain point in our consciousness, we have reached a point where the things that we need just flow towards us in the material sense of the word. However, I have noticed that in regards to the development of, shall we say, different states of consciousness, the multidimensional states of consciousness, traveling in time, different timelines and dimension, experiencing simultaneous lifelines at the same time. All of these things have been, shown or presented as potential in manifesting, but now we're at the point where we're allowed to participate, all right? But what I do know at this particular point is there are a lot of people who are not in that situation of having all of their needs supplied uh, at a physical level, and therefore the circumstances in their situation would be a little different. So I'll go in that direction and give you a few ideas and concepts and tips as to what you might want to do. To give you an example, when I got started, um, I wanted to, some years ago when I had a full-time job, a very good paying job, when I wanted to dedicate my life, if that's the right word, to being of service to people and doing what I really love to do and was having fun doing, which is the work I've been doing all of these years, which is probably one of the reasons why I'm still here. I think most people die because they're bored to death. And one thing I'm not is bored. All right. I mean, you can literally die of boredom, and people are dying of boredom by the millions every year. Um, so when it comes to manifesting, you need to understand that the other thing that's come along with Heart Center Awakening that is a gift is the enhanced imaginative faculty. And what I have found to work manifesting in any way, shape, or form, you've got to combine the imagination and the heart center chakra together. And you have to put them together by, first of all, doing it this way. You have to use the mental body, and you have to decide specifically what the need is that you want to bring into manifestation. Now, for example, let's suppose that need is, let's use money as an example. How much money do you need? And let's not get ridiculous here, all right? Let's be practical and decide what it is that you need in the amount thereof. And you need to diddle with this for a period of time till you come up with the right figure. You actually need to do the work and come up with a figure. Just generalizing will get you nothing. And once you come up with a figure, you need to come up with something on a monthly basis or a yearly basis, whichever works for you in your own particular capacity. And then what you need to do is you need to take the imaginative faculty and you need to take it down into the heart center chakra. And you need to visualize or see in some form or some picture or some movie type scenario that amount of money coming towards you as a visualization, but you don't see it in your head. You're seeing it in the heart center chakra, and you're visualizing it, and you're energizing it, and you're magnetizing it, and you're giving it life and substance, all right? And I have found as a general rule for most people, you need to do this on a daily basis for about 5 to 10 minutes. You need to do it at exactly the same time as part of your meditation program, and you need to do it for about a 2-week period. Why 2 weeks? I've found as a general rule nowadays, because most people who would ask this question or who would ask a question that would be similar are all going through the evolutionary process. And the evolutionary process, I'm finding at this particular point, to make a change or a shift that is going to have substance to it, you need to do it for about 2 weeks. You need to do it at the same time, if possible, and I emphasize if possible, and you need to do it for that 14-day period. The 14 days, what it does seems to impregnate it, if that's the right word, into the heart center chakra, but more importantly, into the etheric body as an energetic template, all right? Then, after you've done it for 2 weeks, then you need to do something else. You need to move toward or change something in your life as if you're moving in a direction of doing something that's actually going to produce that amount of money for you, all right? That means you may have to get up off your ass and look for a job. Or you may have to look for a job that pays you more money. You must put action to the petition that you made in the heart center chakra. Some kind of action reaction will stimulate as you're moving towards that direction, all right? You can create the outcome, but then you have to move your consciousness and the body towards that outcome in some form of physical action towards it in that sense, all right? This can apply to other things. in your life. All right, you need a new car. A new car is a need, and if you need it, there's a big difference here also between need and want. And I'm not going to get into the need and want. What I'm going to say is, if a person is going to use this type of exercise for a want, they're not ready to use the heart center properly. Okay, they don't have the consciousness to suit using it properly, so there's no point even elaborating on a want. All right, it's a need. And I found that people who are evolving and growing are pretty clear and pretty clean on what the difference is between a need and a want, and they pretty much understand that at this particular point. The other thing is this. I recommend in a situation like this, because you're learning to become the co-pilot, that you start small. Now, what I mean by small is this. Everybody, and this is another important aspect of this, everybody in a monthly cycle, all right, females are very familiar with their monthly cycle. Men have a monthly cycle also. It's a little different, obviously, than a female's is, but it's still a cycle. But in every monthly cycle, which is 28 or 30 days or 31, whatever it may be, everyone's cycle is has a different daytime or a different day length or a different timeline length to it. It is your responsibility to find out when in your monthly cycle that you are in your most creative mode, okay, your most energetic mode, your most enlivened mode, when you know you're just full of pizzazz, all right? And that's really, when you locate that, that's the time when you should actually do these particular types of meditation or manifesting things, when you're in that mode. Now, some will say, well, geez, Mel, my mode only lasts 4 or 5 days and then it's gone. That's fine. If it only lasts 4 or 5 days, then go into your meditation and start programming it for a 2-week period. All right? Make it longer. Start small. If your creative period is already longer, then you don't have to worry about it. But if your creative period is only a short time, you need to make it longer. Let me put it to you this way. In the past, I used to be very much linked to the moon and the lunar cycle. And I would go into a very, very creative cycle for about 3 or 4 days just prior to the full moon. And then after that, I would go in a slump. And I noticed that over a period of time, when I started meditating during that very creative cycle a little bit more than what I normally would, I started noticing something to change, that the creative period started to get longer and longer. Now I only have, in say a 30-day cycle, because that's pretty much what my cycle is, about 30 days, I pretty much have only maybe 1 or 2 days when I'm not in a creative mode. I'm not saying I'm not at the high end of creativity, but the creativity is there and it's consistent. And I only have maybe 1 or 2 days during the course of a month where I'm flat out, as it were. And I think that's essential, that you have a couple of flat out days to give you time to clear the head, clear the body, clear the energy field, as it were, and then start another cycle all over again by doing this through the meditation, through the heart center chakra. I think, again, it's like you have to remember here that, we're being given the opportunity to participate in becoming a co-creator. But we need to remember we need to start small. Let's not start creating really big things, because a lot of us have lost our confidence, all right? Even though we're evolving, we're growing, we're becoming spiritually mature, we have all of these things going on, we don't really have a lot of confidence about ourselves. We may have a lot of confidence about other things that are external, but when it comes to our internal confidence as to our evolutionary process and our awakening, we're not all that confident, many of us. And that's something that you need to manifest as quick as possible, is a sense of confidence and well-being. and yes, I'm good. Yes, I'm okay. Yes, I can do this type of ingrain that into your personality. These are the things you kind of need to manifest before you can actually start manifesting things coming towards you in regards to your material needs, monetary needs, that type of thing. So start small and work with these types of things. These are the things that are very important. The other thing that's necessary here is this. Condition of the physical body. And I know I harp on this in my videos all the time. But, you know, you don't need to be superhuman, but you do need a physical body that is in balance and harmony with itself. A physical body that has aches and pains and lumps and bumps is not conducive. It is not conducive to the evolutionary process and where it wants to go, because you're constantly dealing with symptoms and conditions of the physical body. So the first thing on the list that you want to do, again, is another thing here, is care and maintenance of the physical body. You need to go into the heart center chakra. You need to, again, visualize yourself, see your vital condition improving, see your stamina improving, see the overall well-being of your body beginning to function in a much better fashion. And again, you do this by thinking it through, mentally creating it, and then take it down, visualize it, and see it in the heart center chakra and energize it, and feel you'll know when you have it right, because you'll get a distinct feeling of, yes, this is it. This is what makes me feel good. This is what makes me feel right. And again, you do the process for again about a period of 2 weeks, and you will start to notice an improvement in your physical condition. And also, if you have specific areas in the physical body that you know are not up to snuff, you can actually work individually with different portions or different parts of the body and bring them back into balance. And at the same time, ask yourself a question: what can I supply in regards to my diet or supplements that are going to be conducive to bringing my body physical back into balance and harmony? Unfortunately, you know, our society right now we're very addictive by nature, all right? And, you know, so many of us that are going through the evolutionary process are taking some kind of addictive substances or taking it into our body, pharmaceuticals and or drugs, all right? And, you know, I got to tell you something, and this is just my opinion for what it's worth, all right? I don't see any difference between pharmaceutical companies who sell addictive drugs and kill literally thousands of people every year and accept no responsibility for it at all. They do. There are statistics to prove that pharmaceutical drugs kill thousands of people every year, and the pharmaceutical companies take no responsibility for it. The same as someone who sells crack cocaine or heroin on the street. They accept no responsibility for what they do. I don't see any difference between either one of them. The only difference is there's a piece of paper that says one is legal and one is not. They both kill people. They do. No matter how you cut it, no matter how you qualify it, no matter how you say it, every year, and nobody ever talks about it, thousands of people get killed because of pharmaceutical drugs and the pharmaceutical drugs that have been created. In spite of the fact that people say, well, there's benefits that are derived from it. Everything that can be done with a pharmaceutical drug can be done in a natural way. A natural way, in that sense. And I'm not saying anything against the medical profession at all, but I'm talking about drugs and taking drugs into the system at this particular point. So if you don't care about the evolutionary process, if you don't care about moving up into higher states of being and consciousness, go ahead. Smoke pot, take all the pharmaceutical drugs you want. Don't matter. Be happy, zone out, get stoned, be bombed, whatever. That's entirely up to you. Everyone makes their choices, everyone makes their decisions, and everyone's responsible, ultimately, at the end. And you can't come back you can't come back at the end and say, well, nobody told me, because I just did. If you're on the evolutionary pathway, you cannot put that shit into your body on a continual basis and expect to come through the evolutionary process without some kind of derogatory result in that sense. Okay, now the other thing that I wanted to mention in this video is the other thing that's very important is this, and I want to mention this just before I kind of wrap this one up. There's one other thing that we all need to take care of, and that is this. We need to go into the heart center chakra, and we need to learn to like who we are. All right? A lot of people out there going through the evolutionary process really don't like who they are. And much less do they love themselves, if love is the right word. All right? If everyone could kind of reassess the situation and take a look at who they are, what they are, how big they are, how tall they are, how slim they are, how chubby they are, and look at it in the way of being, this is who you are as a person, and you accept yourself as you are and who you are, and extend to that person, no matter what the condition, is all of that energy emanating from the heart center chakra, which so many of us are so quick to give away and attribute it to another person, a twin flame, a soulmate, or whatever. The one thing that I suggest that all of you do is to remember something very important about tips and techniques for the heart center chakra or manifesting. If you want to manifest a very happy and well-balanced being, you have to remember one thing and one thing only. The love, the feeling, the glow, the sensation of the heart center awakening and the opening of that within the center of your chest, all of that energy has always been for you. Not for another, not for him, not for her, but for you. First of all, and most importantly, you. So use some of that you that's emanating from the center of your chest for the right person for a change. You first, everybody else afterward. That's the best tip I can give you. Have a great day, everyone.